Tonight we're on a mission to discover if a truck is actually faster in sport mode versus normal mode versus economy mode. The reason we're testing this is I got a comment recently and someone claimed that the truck is for sure faster in sport mode. Granted, there are vehicles that might actually add power in sport mode, but by and large, the average car or truck or SUV nowadays that has a sport mode, in my opinion, isn't going to be any faster. It changes throttle mapping, it changes maybe some transmission shift points, it generally feels more aggressive, but it's not adding anything that really contributes to performance at the end of the day. And so I've got my Draggy with me. We're gonna go out to a secret location in the depths of Mexico and test this out with real numbers to figure out the truth. So our testing methodology tonight is going to be this. We'll drive around for about 10 minutes and make sure that our electric battery is amply charged. I'm gonna intentionally not use the battery, which means I'm gonna be giving it a medium amount of throttle so that the internal combustion engine is on. Then I'll coast to a stop and use all the regenerative braking I can to recapture all of that and recharge the battery. And then we're gonna take off from a stop there and do my standard test of a 20 to 70 mile an hour test to determine exactly how fast the truck is in that environment. We'll record all the data on the Draggy so we can go back and review it in our secret underground Bat Cave laboratory. All tests will be done with air conditioning turned off. And let's start in eco mode. If our commenter on YouTube's guess is correct, this should be the slowest possible mode, right? V6 Mustang next to me, don't want none. Ready, set, go. Oh, little tire squeal, baby. 60. 70. It says 20 to 70, 8.26 seconds. My God, the performance of this thing blows the mind. All right, so now let's drive around. Let's charge everything back up, get everything ready for run number 2, which will be in normal mode. All right, we found another stoplight. We're at a perfect opportunity here in Mexico. Give it another shot. Go, go, go. Another tire chirp. Wow. 60. Feels a little faster, actually. I mean, I'm okay to be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. 20 to 70, 7.96. What? Is the YouTube commenter right? Is the YouTube guy actually correct? Am I wrong? Because right now, pretty darn objectively, I see a significant difference, 0.3 seconds, 20 to 70, between eco mode and normal mode. Wow. I'm prepared to eat crow. Give me a crow pie. I will gladly ingest said crow. I'll have to go back through and compare slopes and everything like that and DAs because I don't know if I can look at that while I'm driving, but so far I'm optimistic in sport mode. We'll see. It is one thing that I wish the Maverick had, which would be like a battery charge indicator. Granted, it's such a small battery that you are using it and refilling it back and forth so frequently that maybe it wouldn't actually be that helpful. But for those of us that are data nerds, it would be fun to see. Like, why not just let me see it? I'm also still convinced that if Ford made something like a Ford Maverick Energy, spelled with an I at the end, E-N-E-R-G-I, like they did with the Fusion, like they did with the C-Max and all that, then it would be like basically the perfect small truck. I would want it to be a plug-in hybrid, 100 miles of EV range, 600 miles of total range. It would be legit. You might notice that I don't have a camera angle showing you where I'm going, showing you my speedometer, anything like that. That's intentional. We're out here at the cover of darkness. We're trying to be a little bit sneaky and secretive, so keep it sneaky. Now, I've not done extensive reading to see exactly what the Ford Maverick in particular does in sport mode, how exactly everything changes. I can tell you that the throttle mapping feels different, but what does it do with the battery? What does it do with power discharge? I don't know. So let's find out. Ready? 1, 2, 3, floor it. Go, baby, go. Yo! Doesn't feel any faster. But what's the result? What was the last one? 7.96? This one is 8.08. Proven, not faster. But just to be scientifically accurate, we'll do at least one more run on the way back up to my casita here in Mexico, just to make sure definitively there's no way that sport mode is slower. But as of right now, it's within 1/10 of normal mode, which tells me it's the same. Like, let's talk about the alternatives. Let's say sport mode really would be faster. What would that imply? Well, in my mind, if sport mode was faster, that implies that normal mode is being held back, that they're not giving you all the juice normally because they're saving all of the juice until you hit sport mode. It's so silly because why would they do that? Why would they give you 80% of the performance all the time unless you push the little button enough to get it into sport mode? That's ridiculous. There's no way they're doing that. The only vehicle I've heard of things like that happening in, I believe it's called the Hyundai Ioniq N. It's this new performance EV. It's all electric, so it's not a hybrid like this at all, but they give you like a 5 or 10 second performance boost button on the steering wheel. So what their logic is, we can give you this extra 40 horsepower if you hold the button down for up to 10 seconds, but it's only 10 seconds because longer than that, it's like detrimental to the life of the battery or whatever. It's kind of like pushing that boundary as far as we can push it, but only for 10-second increments at a time. And they give you the control on the steering wheel, which is really cool, instead of the car just reverting to doing it on its own. So like for example, in my experience, a company who doesn't do that is Ford, because in their turbocharged engines that they've named EcoBoost, a lot of them have an overboost feature, similar to that N button or whatever the Hyundai is doing. But the overboost is just activated whenever you hit full throttle. And so granted, I can infer, yes, I do want all the power when I hit full throttle, but adding that level of control to have the button on the steering wheel is really nice. Because yeah, maybe I want like basically all of the power, but I don't need all of the power to the point where I'm gonna like run out of overboost right now. I just want the normal amount. Or maybe I want all of it in a second or two after I hit full throttle. That would be really cool. So I love the idea of having the button on the steering wheel because that just gives you all of the ability to play with it, all the ability to choose exactly when you want it and how you want it. And so in my opinion, it'd be really silly if they held back on something like the Ford Maverick. If they gave you some kind of extra sport mode in a little truck, like it doesn't make any sense. A legitimate sport mode. Based on this first test, sport mode is pretending to make things more aggressive by changing the way the throttle actuates, essentially. It's all electronic anyway. It's not like they're changing a wire length or something. It's just the way they program it. And so they can program it to say, well, when you push 50% of the throttle down, you get 80% of the power. And so it's like, oh wow, that feels like more power sooner. And technically it is, but that's just because they're opening the throttle faster. They're not creating more power. They're just giving you more earlier. It'd be like if you were getting 10 Christmas presents next year, and instead of opening all 10 on Christmas morning, you opened 5 of them on the 20th. It's not any more presents, you're just getting it earlier, just ruining the fun. Ugh, opening presents early is not the best. Oh man, this road I was gonna use for my test is closed. Dang it, federales. Dude, I don't know what's happening down there. There's a commotion down there though. Sheesh. But I'm committed to science and to secrecy, so we're gonna do this tonight. I've also realized that I could add another metric in here, which would be really fun. A 50 to 80 mile an hour test. That would be legit. All right, sport mode, here we go. Final test, ready? Oh, we're going up kind of a hill. I can't cheat the test. I'm a scientist. Let's get up to the top of the hill and then we'll go. Ready, set, go. Oh yeah. That's a test right there. That's a very thorough examination. All right, now that we've reached the safety of a red light, time to reveal this incredibly newsworthy, groundbreaking data. 20 to 70, 8.11. Wow. And we even had a bigger negative slope that time, minus 1.87. And so it's an invalid reading because the slope helps us too much, and yet the 20 to 70 was still too slow. 50 to 80, 6.95. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's something. I can do it again from the stoplight here. We do a 0 to 60. 0 to 60, sport mode, all the power. That electric bike is going pretty fast, not as fast as we're about to go. Of course, these conditions are suboptimal. If you were at a racing facility, especially with a specially prepped track, you will get better results than this. Here we go. Not the best launch. Zero to 60, 8.37. Eat your heart out, Bugatti Chiron. Bugatti would probably be doing like 130 by then. That's insane. I mean, the CVT is just not a great launching platform, unfortunately. I wish that it was a little bit more snappy, responsive, engaging. You know, CVT is always going to have that sort of slacked off nature. Oh, we're going now? Okay, let's get going. You know, it's very slow to kind of engage. It's like a sleepy toddler kind of a transmission or something. It's not that kind of like PDK dual clutch, you know, bop, 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 really responsive transmission. obviously a manual, you can force to do what you want. So it's basically the least performance-oriented transmission humanly possible, hence the very bad launch. 0 to 10 miles an hour took 1.2, 0 to 20 miles an hour took 2.2, and 0 to 30 took 3.4. So by the time I'm going 30 miles an hour, a lot of performance cars are already at 60. They're literally twice as fast, and then we're not making up a whole lot of ground. Like, once the truck has actually launched, it doesn't have enough power to really get going that well. The data has been astonishing. I'm glad that we could myth bust tonight. I'm glad that we could figure out the truth behind this riveting problem that's been just flooding the nation. And because of the great value that's received by watching these videos, I know that you'll subscribe to get more of this kind of brilliant, breathtaking, revelatory content. Nighttime Sneaky Sneakies. We're gonna call this series Nighttime Sneaky Sneakies, because when you're in the desert, you only really should do performance testing at nighttime. Otherwise, it's too hot and you will blow up your car. Thanks for coming along with me. I'll see you in the next video. Good night.